Hi, my name is Jamie Louise. You can find my paintings at jamielouise.shop and posters. And there's a series of paintings that I have here that are basically about when one of the cats got lost and I had to go and find him. And so I wrote that story, and I'll put it out next year. And I told the story, a different version of the story through another cat's eyes, what she would imagine if she went out and was brave and went to find him herself. And so this is the first painting, and it's basically Harmony. It's called Harmony. And the cats are sleeping, and this one is William. And he is dreaming about being an outside cat. So he's an older cat in this painting, but he fantasizes about all different things that the outside cats must be doing that he can't be a part of. And it's like, basically, is the grass greener on the other side? Like, what is out there that I don't know? And the real situation in this area is, it's not like this anymore, but it used to be that we had a lot of cats here, and there were, so I live near a college, and cats often get abandoned. So students come, adopt animals, and then they abandon them, and they just accumulated over time until there was a program called Trap, Neuter, and Return. And so there's groups of people that for a long time have been catching cats, getting them spayed and neutered, and then putting them back out in the wild. They clip their ears so that they can see from a distance if the cat's fixed or not. And that really, really makes a difference. So you wouldn't think it would, but it really, there was a woman who moved into my area in 2013, and she did that, and she made a significant impact on the amount of cats that were here. Anyway, so William, when he was younger, was abandoned. So his owners most likely had lived across from me, and they were having a baby, and so they were moving, and they put all his stuff out by the trash, and then they left, and then William was in the parking lot, and he looked like he didn't know what to do, and he was surrounded by outside cats, and there was one really mean bully that was chasing after him, and so I brought him inside, and he was, for a while, he was afraid to go outside. He didn't want to go out there. And then after a while, he forgot that he was afraid, and he just remembered, like, man, that was really exhilarating being outside. Like, I want to do it again. And so I had to protect him because it wasn't, at the time, it didn't feel like it was safe out there. And then, I was gone all day, and I didn't want him outside, so I didn't let him do that in the beginning. So what I did was I would come home at night, and he would try to find ways to jump outside, and I would get home late, and I would open the door, and he would just, before you could even like block him, before you had time to even think about it, he would just be sailing. You'd open the door and he'd be sailing out into the dark and like running away. And I would spend up to an hour sometimes trying to find him, but he never went far. He was actually afraid to go too far. So they had gotten to the point sometimes when I was tired, and I was like, you know what? Stay out there. So I'd go inside, and you could hear me getting all the food ready, and he would come back and be crying at the door like, you're not following me. So I would let him in. So he would want to run away, but he would never get very far. And there was once that he was lost for like, I think, but he was so terrified that I had to, he was like, I think he was in a neighbor's backyard, and he was like, his whole body was shaking, that when I would call him, it was rattling his nerves, and he was so disoriented from the fear. And so I had to like be really quiet and like really soothing and get him to come, because it was too much for him. And he came. So that was when he was younger. When he got older, he what I thought, like he was so old and weak, that he wouldn't go very far if he did leave, and so I would let him go through the backyard, not the front, because the front, there's, he could go anywhere, lots of nooks and crannies and places to hide and whatever. But in the backyard, you just jump over the wall. There's miles and miles of train tracks. You can see him, but he was weak and stuff. He wasn't that strong anymore, so most he could do is jump over the wall for like 20 minutes and then come back, and then he'd be through for the rest of the day. And that was his big adventure. And I let him do that. There was like a nice big tall patch of grass right behind my wall, and that was thrilled him. And I wanted him to have that experience because his whole life he had wanted that so bad. And I was like, what a shame to like live a whole life and want that and not have it. So I would just let him do it. And at the time, I had other cats. So I had a couple litters of cats actually, and so they nobody could jump. So no, it was weird. William was the only one who jumped. So the other ones, like, he would jump up on the wall and they would all look at him like, I don't know if they were amazed or they're just like, you're not supposed to do that, or I don't know. It didn't occur to them to jump. Yeah, he was the only one. So I didn't worry about anybody going outside because they would just stay in the backyard. It was only him that was sort of a problem. But there was one day, in real life, so in the story, there was a situation on the tracks with like drug dealing, and the police had asked me to be a witness. And they knew, the drug dealer people, they knew who I was. And so I was in court on the witness stand, and I was giving a reference to something, and I mentioned that William jumps over the wall in the morning. And after that, it was right after that court case, William jumped over the wall and he was gone. So that's what I knew, but that Lou didn't know that. So Lou's version of the story is a little bit different. And so William here is dreaming about being an outside cat, and here at the time there was tons of outside cats. So everybody moved, and all the cats passed away from a virus or something happened, and everybody passed away. But forgot what I was saying. The lady, there was two ladies between us. There was a lady in the middle that actually passed away also. She was very old, but she had a lot of cats too. And so there was a lot of cats that would pass by the door, and I would leave the door open, and they would all communicate with each other. And they all had stories. They all had, if you looked at their own personal life story, these cats had, all had traumatic things happen to them, and then they had like a good life with these ladies that lived next door, and they were free to come and go. They weren't kept inside like my cats were. And William was a little bit jealous, and so but it's interesting because the cats are so intelligent, and they would walk by and they would communicate with my cats, and William, you could see William's just they got it better out there. It's not fair. And there was one particular cat that had an interesting life. So he was kept inside for most of his life, and his owner was elderly and I think mentally something was wrong with her. and she just disappeared one day. And so my neighbor went in to get her cat, and it acted like it was feral, so it bit them and it went crazy and it like ran away. And it took them days to woo that cat back. And after it came back, nicest cat you'd ever see, so sweet. But he was it was a very difficult learning process for that cat to learn how to get along with the others and communicate like just a normal cat, because he had been isolated for so long. He had lived in this house basically by himself, with no affection or communication whatsoever. So he was a little, like, his communication was really strange. But he turned out to be sort of a bully, because he got like stimulated by like, oh man, yeah, you're afraid of me. Like you're afraid of me. And so he would act intimidating, but he wasn't. He was actually a really nice cat. But anyway, so William was confronting him all the time, and William's just like, man, my life could be like that, and I'm not scared of him. And William always knew that I had his back, so he would just, sometimes when he would just go outside, he'd be like, yeah, you know, Jamie's gonna get you if you do anything to me. So, but anyway, so this is the beginning. This is the beginning. What else did I say? I don't know. Yeah. All right. So that's him dreaming, and I'm not going to tell you the other parts. I'll tell you the other parts different, but I'll just show you them. Let's see. So these are just some of them. And this is one of them. This is William. This is my logo. This is part of the story. This is Greta. So Greta's in a lot of the paintings, you'll notice. She's a helper fairy. She helps Lou find William. And there's Greta. All right. This is Dutchie. He's one of the outside kitties, and he's planning a meeting